I actually own that waterfall.
Do you really?
Sweet.
Yeah, that's my property.
So your
So
truck
sweet.
is smoking.
Finally, we're finally heading out to see my brother-in-law's mountain paradise. That's how he describes it. Knowing him, it must be so. Having lived in Colorado essentially all of his life, Eric's love of climbing, skiing, hiking, living as close to clouds as he can, allowed him to see some amazing mountaintops, valleys, rock formations, and other of nature's gifts to us. So when he says this place is a paradise, it must be a paradise. As we wound our way down the windy road into the wonderful mountain town of Ouray, we knew that we would be seeing Eric soon. My wife hadn't seen her brother in a few years, so our trip to his place would be even more special, as they would finally have their reunion.
Hey
See you, man.
there, Andy.
How are you?
Welcome, welcome. Hey, how was the drive over?
Awesome. Super easy. Oh my God, this stretch, you're right. Mind-boggling.
From Durango.
So beautiful. Well, from Durango on.
Yeah.
Silverton.
Yeah, up Silverton and up over the
So
pass.
beautiful.
Something
Yeah,
unreal,
Mullet
right?
Pass. Yeah. Oh my God.
Red Mountain.
So yeah, the town street blocks, wherever you are, I will just see you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'll see you.
It's a different world. It's absolutely a different world. It's all
So
the same place. Like, I want to be on the road as much as you do the whole time.
But your hilarity of it seems to contradict the seriousness and the speed at which you're taking these curves.
Wow, we gotta get up the mountain. Here we go.
Serious? Wow.
Yeah. They were
The owner of this
mine, yeah.
Jeez.
Bought his daughter the Hope
Oh my
daughter.
God.
Yeah, they were fabulously wealthy. I mean,
Wow.
But what I realized is that after doing it a little bit, it's like, you know, the vehicle is engineered and made for this. Like,
Yeah, right.
If you let the vehicle do it,
Yeah, trust it.
you're fine.
Look at that, Andy.
I know.
So now we're
Oh
in my
my
neighborhood.
gosh.
That's Richmond Creek. I actually own that waterfall.
Do you really?
Sweet.
Yeah, that's my property.
So your
So
truck
sweet.
is smoking.
That's steam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just went through
The water got on the car. Motor.
Yeah, so
You-
my go cut firewood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful little cabin.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. And your lodge is beautiful. The design. Eric, the design
Thank
is
you.
so cool.
The ceiling got
Nice.
furred out and we insulated down the ceiling.
Awesome.
And yeah, and then
put
brought,
in
you know, at that time we
lights.
brought power in through
Yeah.
solar and
Uh-huh.
micro hydro and wired the place.
This is
And then that same summer, I developed the spring and brought water to the place. And so this is the water right now.
that's spring water.
This is the
On
best
tap.
water. This is the best water you're ever gonna drink.
Let's have it.
That's the best water you're ever gonna drink. I guarantee it. It doesn't get better.
Out of your tap.
Man,
We don't even freaking have to go down to the river.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, not only is it, I mean, it's unadulterated in every way. It's not even filtered. I don't even have to filter it.
You don't have to filter it.
I mean, it goes.
And you've had it like tested and everything, and it's above the standards and stuff, right?
Well above. I mean,
that's just insane.
That is so delicious.
Some incredible.
I think it's the best water I've ever tasted.
Well, I was thinking we'd do some elk stroganoff. Well, this elk was from up here on Mount Hayden, and it was just in a group of, well, a large group of maybe 30 different elk. I mean, 30 of them maybe, when I came across the herd. And I was fortunate enough to be in a rock outcropping above them, and I was able to pick out a nice bull. And without much difficulty. I was alone. It took a good 18 hours to get him back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it's a long process between breaking down the animal and then packing him out. The elk was, I reckon he was 800-pound animal.
Oh.
You have to break him down into pieces.
And pack him out.
And pack him out, yeah. In this case, I was above tree line, so I couldn't, when I got him, he was, up in the alpine. And so in the alpine, you don't have trees to hang any extra meat in. That's one of the first things that you think of when you want to leave meat in the backcountry to not get messed with by. But in the alpine, you don't really have that option. No trees up there. And so in this case, actually, I took all the extra meat away from the kill site as far as I could. And that's the first important thing, because at the kill site, there's lots of scrap and the carcass and everything else. And so that's going to attract a lot of animals just because of the nature of it. I mean, there's a lot that's happened there, a lot of blood and guts and the whole carcass and whatnot. And so you take all the meat. I took all the meat that I could in packages, in bags, game bags, as far away from the kill site as possible. And then I buried it under piles of rocks.
Wow.
So I would get, big rocks, and put them over the game bags, and so I just tried to create some distance basically from the rest of the attractant of the kill, and then you just kind of hope for the best. In the alpine, I've had success with that. I've also come back the next morning and found that some animals have gotten into it, in this case, I did great. Nobody messed with my meat. Each pack out, you can do maybe, 60 to 80 pounds at a time. And so you can take out quite a bit of meat right off the bat. It's just, and then you do that 3 or 4 times, more, 5 times total maybe. I can get an elk out of the backcountry in 5 trips, a big one, or a medium-sized elk in 5 trips. We're talking 2.5 miles to 3 miles, but that's overland, without trails, involving, a certain amount of elevation, gain and loss. So yeah, it's not like 2.5 to 3 miles walking down a bike path or something. I can put away enough meat in a single harvest for a year. Yep. Yeah, it's hundreds of pounds of meat that comes back. I'm pretty fortunate to be good with a knife and know how to get, you know, I take as much meat out of the field as I possibly can, and then process it carefully up here to maximize the yield. So I use every last bit, including, you know, some organ meat and all the rib and all the brisket and skirt. So I mean, it's a little different than or a little higher yield than the average hunter might get if they took it to a processing facility. So it's really a win-win for me, because not only do I not have to pay for it, I'm getting a higher yield at the same time. Depending on how much grinding you do, I mean, you can break it down and get it ready for storage in a day if you have it all here, like a full day. But if you decide that you want to do in the initial stages a bunch of grinding, and by that I mean making ground meat and sausage, that's a whole other day. Grinding the meat and whatnot, and that's involved, you know, that's a whole extra step, because a lot of the meat you do grind a bunch of meat, and if you're just cutting it up for stew and steaks or getting it initially prepped, you can do it all in a day, but that's a full day of just butchery. You know, an elk's not all that much different than any other animal. I mean, there are some different things. The field dressing is the thing that you have to learn, that's different than regular butchery skills. Because as you know, regular butchery, you don't deal with like an animal with all its guts and fur and everything else. But so that was a process that I needed to learn, and I was fortunate enough to get some instruction on that. But for the most part, you know, all the butchery comes to me just from being a chef. I mean, I know my way around an animal. It's not that much different than any other animal.
And with that epic tale of solo elk hunting and processing, Eric's elk stroganoff that night tasted that much more amazing, and made me realize that things certainly work differently in this off-grid mountain paradise. So stay tuned for next episode where we find out what you have to do when you lose refrigeration at 11,000 feet. See you then.